Hello everyone and welcome to LitFilmFest Classrooms. I'm today joined with another prestigious author. Hello Kirsty, how are you?
Hi Tim, it's lovely to be here.
And you are an author of two fantastic books, that's right, isn't it? Would you like to tell us a little bit about them?
Yeah, I'm Kirsty Applebaum. I'm the author of The Middler, is my first book. And The Middler tells the story of a girl called Maggie, who's 11 years old, and she's a middle child who lives in a town where only the eldest children are considered special.
Ooh, wow.
And then my second book, which just came out recently, is called Troofriend. And Troofriend tells the story of a girl called Sarah, whose busy parents buy her a robot friend to keep her company.
This is something that's actually happening now, isn't it? So we're starting to see AI in Japan and in even in care homes with elderly people. So it's interesting.
There are robots working in care homes and also in hotel receptions and airports. In some places you can be welcomed by a robot. Yeah.
Ooh, it's quite scary, really. Yeah, you did a lot of research before writing Troofriend.
I didn't do a great deal of research before I started writing it. However, since I've written it, I have looked into this, and I'm amazed at how realistic there are, and how effective these robots are that they're making now. And I think that it's only a matter of time, really, before we have robot friends like Ivy.
We're thinking about diary writing today, and you have written Troofriend from the first perspective, or a lot of it from the first perspective of the AI, haven't you? So that works really well with what we've been looking at this week.
Yeah, in fact, nearly the whole book is written from the robot who is called Ivy. It's written from Ivy's perspective, and it's every time she is turned on, there's a new chapter. And every time she's turned off, that chapter ends.
And great idea. So there's things that happen in between chapters then that we don't know about.
Yeah, absolutely, there are. Yes,
really clever.
And sometimes you can sort of guess what those things are that happen in between. And every time she's turned on, she says the time and the date. So it does. So although it's not exactly a diary, it does have that very much a diary feel about it, because you get that good afternoon, it is 4:49 p.m. What a delightful Friday, the 5th of June it has turned out to be here in Brylington. So she says the date and the time every time at the beginning of every chapter. So yeah, there's a real diary sense about it, although it's not strictly speaking a diary format.
That's great. It takes me back to having a Tamagotchi, which was a little kind of pet that you used to have in your pocket, and you used to feed it.
Yeah, my boys had Tamagotchis. Sometimes I had to look after them while they were at school.
Yeah, I asked my mum to look after mine. Yeah. She crashed her car trying to feed it, which she still blames on me.
Oh no, that's terrible.
Well, keep your eyes on the road, not on the Tamagotchi. That's what I say. Let's take a short reading from Troofriend, just to get an idea about what the book's about and how we can write diaries here. Would you like to set the scene?
So yes, this is the opening chapter of Troofriend, and it starts off in the warehouse before Ivy has been introduced to her new home. I sit cross-legged on the floor. My knees are not stiff. They bend just as easily as the knees on any real human child. All 144 of us on this spick-span warehouse floor. Each one of us is unique. We have different skin colours, different eye colours, and different hair colours. We have different sized noses and ears and thumbs and mouths. Some of us have high voices, some of us have low voices. Some of us are wearing blue denim-style jeans. We are the Troofriend 560 Mark IV. We are the best choice for your child. She no longer needs to play with other human children who might bully or harm or lie or covet or steal or envy, whatever those words mean. We are programmed only for fun and goodness.
So tell us how you see this as potentially a diary entry. How it gives the voice of what kind of sentences and words have you used in this?
Well, I think you've got that first person first of all. So the I and the I sit cross-legged on the floor. My knees are not stiff. Instead of third person, which would be he or she. And I also think it's speaking as Ivy would speak. So instead of trying to construct long, complicated sentences, they're quite short sentences, which is just how I imagined she would speak. And also using the sort of words and phrases that she would use. So instead of saying, I was wearing my jeans, she says, some of us are wearing blue denim style jeans, which is how she's experienced that. They're the phrases that she's heard in her life. So it kind of really makes it very much her voice. And that's, I think, quite often what you do get in a diary. You get someone's natural voice rather than someone trying to write something proper, if you like. You get that natural voice of the particular character you're writing from.
Yeah, I think the voice as well, how she's clearly heard phrases like almost like corporate phrases that have been, I presume, uploaded to her consciousness. Like,
yeah,
the
absolutely.
best choice
like we
for
are
your
the
child.
Best choice for your child. Yes,
that's the slogan, isn't it? The advertising slogan of the company, and also that, you know, of course, this the Troofriend 560 Mark IV won't bully, harm, lie, or covet, or steal, or envy. But she doesn't understand what those words are, does she? And
that's like, right. They're just on her label. Yeah.
I like that. It really comes across well that, you know, she is reeling off what she's been taught, but then also she doesn't understand what those words are. So that's like that's her voice there, isn't it, at the end of that sentence?
Yeah. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Great. So your task today is to write your own diaries at home, and we'd like you to write a diary from a different perspective. So just as Kirsty's been writing from the perspective of a AI friend, which is super fun, of course you can do that, but you can empathize with a different object as well. So what would the life of a cushion be like, or the ketchup in your fridge? And maybe you write a diary every time the fridge door is opened, just like Kirsty had an idea of when the
Great
AI
idea,
had switched. Oh, I'm borrowing your idea.
Great. I love it. Borrow away.
You've got good ideas, Kirsty. But yeah,
I think this is a really great exercise, and I've done when I first started writing, and I was going to a lot of writing workshops. I did a lot of exercises like this, writing from an object's point of view, and it's such a great exercise to do, and great fun. You can just let your imagination run wild with making up a voice for a mug or something like that. You know, it's a great thing to do, or maybe a phone or a television or something. Yeah,
because it could actually make fairly mundane, like boring situations or problems quite exciting, because it's just a different viewpoint, isn't it? So how would a mug feel about being submerged in water for half a day if someone hasn't washed it up? And actually,
yes, exactly, great idea. And rings being left around, not being washed up properly. Or going in the dishwasher.
No. So we would like you to pick an object or an AI or anything you want to, and write a diary entry of a few days of what that object goes with. So a diary entry from a different perspective. Include expectations, its thoughts, what's it expecting to happen next, and its feelings and its emotions. And we want you to write this in a chatty way. You know, how would you write a diary? How would you write a diary entry? It doesn't have to be long sentences, as Kirsty said. It can be quite chatty. It's for you and your ideas, or it's for someone else. Maybe it's for publishing. But if you think of lots of other diaries, they're often for their own person, for them to think about how they're writing.
That's right. Now, I think that's the great thing about a diary, is that you have got the freedom to just do whatever you want. You don't have to construct proper sentences. You can draw pictures around it and doodles, and you could even write little poems or something like that if you wanted to. Maybe your mug only speaks in poetry, and so it can be anything at all. That's the wonderful thing about a diary, is that you don't actually have to show anyone.
And because this is week 3 of our Eldorado lessons as well, Kirsty, we're writing our own feature-length films at the minute, and this is the third week, so this is the third scene. If you'd like to, you could write a diary entry from a different perspective in your story as well. So in your Eldorado story, you might have your 3 or 5 heroes, however many you've written. How about using one of their gadgets to actually write a diary entry from their perspective of the next part of the story?
Yeah, that's a great idea too. And what I did with the Middler, it wasn't an object, but when I wrote the Middler, this is written from the point of view of the middle child. But when I originally wrote it, it was from the point of view of the eldest child, and it wasn't quite working properly. And I wrote really a lot of it, actually. I wrote 40,000 words. And then I decided to change the point of view to the middle child. And suddenly it all came together. So that change of point of view, although it wasn't to an object, it was to a different character, really brought the story to life.
Thank you, Kirsty, for that. If you would like to send in your work so that we can celebrate it, and Kirsty can celebrate it as well, of course, send it into @LitFilmFest on the Twitter, info@litfilmfest.com via the old email, or on our Facebook page. You know it, Lit Film Fest Classrooms. That's right. And how do we get in contact with you, Kirsty?
Well, I'm on Twitter too. I'm @Kirsty Applebaum on Twitter. And if you are not a Twitter user, perhaps you can send it to me via Tim and at his info email address. And I would really love to see your pieces of writing.
And also, Nosy Crow are very happy to have emails.
Yeah, well, Nosy Crow, you can go via Nosy Crow to me as well. Absolutely, yeah.
I'll send my AI to hand deliver some letters to your house, Kirsty.
Lovely, yeah. All robot delivery is very welcome. Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you everyone for joining us today. If you like this episode, give us a big thumbs up and a subscribe on the old YouTube buttons below. And take care, Kirsty. Nice to meet you.
Lovely, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.